Hi, everybody. I'm Dawn Bennett with Touch Remedies, coming to you today with Rachel Haug. And Rachel is a licensed psychologist here in the state of Minnesota. She specializes working with stress and anxiety and helping working women, especially, manage their stress and anxiety. She works all online, so no matter where you live in Minnesota, you can grab her specialties and you can find all her contact information below this video in YouTube or where I post it in the rest of the social media spaces. So thanks, Rachel, for coming. I'm super excited to chat with you.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. So tell me a little bit about touch and COVID and how it's impacted you.
It's been interesting. So as a psychologist, I very much am used to seeing clients in spaces, right? So I absolutely believe in energy and don't touch a ton in my work. However, there is a different feeling doing all online therapy. It just takes a little finesse.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been interesting to not even, shake new clients' hands as you're getting to know them. Or laughing and giving a high five even as like people reach goals. It's just that, we're kind of doing air high fives, which just don't seem to have the same amount of excitement. So it is really interesting. And the other thing is, in my personal life with a partner who is an essential worker, was an essential worker. I don't know if it is or was at this point, but I have a chronic illness, so I need to be especially mindful that my partner is going out and about and doing all of their things, and I've been working from home. I've been very privileged in that I've been able to continue working from home since March with COVID, but it's like, well, am I really that much safer if I'm commingling with my partner, right? Sitting next to that person on the couch, kissing, hugging. And so we actually had to develop a pretty strict, when she gets home from work, these are the steps. Like, don't touch anything, like go take your uniform off, go, and jump in the shower. And it's just been very interesting. And then of course with Lysol and Clorox and everything, it's like, well, we quickly ran out of that, but who didn't? Everybody did. But it's like, well, now what, and after a while that was starting to take a toll on me, was kind of that hypervigilance and excessive worry. I don't think it was over the top worry, because we didn't know what we were working with yet, and we still don't, in my humble opinion. Mm-hmm. But I kind of just had to be like, I can't care that much. I miss my person. I miss that touch. Like, I very much believe that we are social creatures by nature. And social does include human elements. There's all this research out there about what, I don't even know what it is. It's beyond my scope of practice, but like what endorphins or neurotransmitters get released after you hug for X amount of seconds or something. You probably know more.
Yeah, right. Serotonin,
totally
oxytocin, yeah, dopamine, all of the good chemicals.
Yeah, like, give me all of the good feels, right? So yeah, so it's been a very interesting journey, both professionally and personally. And I still feel more privileged and fortunate than even some of the clients that I do see in my therapy practice, because I have some individuals who live by themselves, or maybe are single or are widowed. And so their socialization was colleagues at work, but now they're working remotely or going to their parents for dinner on Sunday night. But their parents were in the high risk category, so they didn't want to do that. And so even as I have found that I've been struggling in certain ways, I still have felt very fortunate.
Yeah. I saw a statistic that I haven't fact checked it 100%, but something along the lines of like suicide rates are going up by 30%. And there's a much higher rate of anxiety and depression and people seeking out therapy right now because of the lack of socialization, the lack of connection, the increased feeling of isolation, increased feeling of loneliness. And I believe some of that probably comes from lack of physical contact. What do you think? What's been your experience or observation?
I don't have anything to support this other than anecdotal, and I would absolutely harbor that that's a safe guess.
Yeah.
My dissertation research when I was getting my doctorate was actually on belongingness and feeling as though one is a valued member, not just like part of a group, because anybody can be like, oh yeah, totally, I go to that church or I am enrolled in that organization, but actually the feeling of giving something to that group and then them giving something back to you so you fit there has, not surprisingly, but still offset psychological distress. So if you want to think about that as depression, anxiety, pretty much anything that can kind of get chalked up into that, it was a protective factor for offsetting that is having your people. I don't care who those people are or what those people look like or what organization it was. That's how important that is. And I think, I know, and depending what that is, there is going to be touch involved, right? So absolutely, I think that is going to be so meaningful, even, when people weren't even sure if animals could get COVID, right? And honestly, I don't know. I think there's still contradictory information on that.
Like so much right now, right? Is very, yeah.
So it's like, if you have a pet at home, or if you're a veterinarian, or, just like, what is safe? And where do I fit? And how can I protect myself, but also protect those and the people that I care about and love? I think all of these factors with the isolation, looking through the medium, I've read research on kind of like I don't remember how they phrased it, but basically like, you're right there, like I can touch you, but no, I can't. And so that really weird, it's kind of a mind game in that regard, as far as like, I talk to people all day, but did I really? And we're just not used to that. We're not used to the high fives and the handshakes and the hugs even. I know some therapists hug their clients sometimes, and we don't need to get down if that's cool or not. It is what it is. And I think about doctors and physicians and nurses, like from the the patient perspective. I have had a couple telehealth medical appointments, and I've been like, how much data are you missing? I still felt cared for. I still think they did a good job. And do you miss touching patients? Not like in a weird way, but like that gives you information that you can't get through a screen. So I would absolutely not be surprised, very long-winded, but I would absolutely not be surprised if, well, I know for a fact that stress and anxiety, because I'm seeing it in my practice, are going through the roof. Depression too, which is very closely and intimately related with loneliness. And also suicide goes with depression. So I would not be surprised. I haven't seen that research myself, but I have heard more anecdotally with clients that I've been working with increased suicidal thoughts. Unfortunately, it's very sad.
Yeah. Do you have any like recommendations or suggestions or things that you found to be effective for yourself in feeling more like you belong or belong to a group or can make that connection even without the physical contact at this time?
Oh, that's a great question. I think what's coming up for me as you ask is, as things are starting to open up, which we don't need to get political, whether or not you agree, things are starting to open up more and more. Mm-hmm. I feel that people are jumping at the opportunity because we're craving it. We're craving that connection. We're craving, again, whether it's actually touching or just a physical energy. Something as simple as someone opening a door for you as you go to a restaurant, which a lot of us haven't done in I don't know how long now.
Getting change at the store and someone touches your hand without a glove on, right?
Yes, it's something. I just, and I do stand by the belief that like touch is just so fundamental. And I understand why we're still limiting it, why we're still protecting ourselves with masks and with gloves and with 6 feet and whatever. I don't feel, in my opinion, that there are many safe ways to engage with another person with physical touch involved yet. And I say that with a heavy heart because I wish that was different. And I think it's taking a toll on people, which is what we're talking about, right? So as much as I would be like, oh yeah, here, like do these 3 things, because they're like, you can get your physical touch needs met, and that's what I found helpful. I at least, well, speaking for myself, I'm still monitoring that. Yeah. I'm still modifying my behaviors a little bit, and that's hard. That's hard. It is. I have decided to not care, but hope and pray that my beloved cat cannot catch COVID. So like, I will cuddle her really pretty worry-free. And that, I think that's my saving grace. Like, I was not surprised to hear that like shelters actually had all of their cats and dogs adopted when this happened.
I hadn't heard that. Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Like right away. So first they were just like transferring animals that were in, so then they could limit the number of workers that would be around and everything like that. I think they all went down to, I don't know, somewhere south of Minneapolis, and in a shelter. And then the next time I heard, it was like they didn't have any, like none, no cats, no dogs. They were all adopted. And I'm so like, first of all, as an animal lover, I'm like, yay! But also it's like, yeah, I get it. Like we learn our sensations. This is such a, and in my work with mindfulness is like touch. What are you touching? What are you feeling? What are you, we crave it.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of your insights. Any last minute suggestions? Anything else you want to say, share? Any ways that you think people can connect without physical contact that you found to be a little different? Or
I mean, even though virtual is different, and some may even go out and say less than in-person physical touch, I think there is a lot of beautiful things that virtual connections can still offer us, primarily around like the flexibility of the, with technology and everything like that, and convenience that we can, instead of getting together at this time, we can get together at this time or something like that. I think the temptation is to be like, well, everything shut down, so then I'm just gonna go with everything being shut down. And I understand that, because especially at first, like in March and definitely April, like the world kind of felt like it stopped a little bit, and people lost their childcare, people lost, had to learn how to homeschool, people had to learn how to work from home, and it's like, okay, don't freak out a little bit here. That the idea of putting effort forth to reach out to that coworker that you usually could just walk down to the hallway and like shoot the shit, sorry for swearing, but for a little bit. Or, you know, if you guys used to do happy hours after work, or if you and your daycare worker used to talk, like those are taking more effort. And for a while it was like, I don't have anything else to give. I'm kind of already maxed out at all the new organizations I need to be doing. Mm-hmm. But as this continues to extend, and it's evolving, and as I said, things are loosening up as the world knows, for worse or for better, it is. Mm-hmm. Those connections are still giving you socialization. It's not necessarily through touch, but is there something that you can get from that will help you with your own mental health, and then find touch somewhere else? So do you usually go to the gym? Okay. Can you do push-ups at home? In which case, and then we're going to talk about mindfulness, like feeling that carpet, feeling that ground, feeling your heartbeat. You can touch yourself. And I'm not talking like in a weird way, but like you can touch your face. You can hold your hand. You can pray. You can all of that. Hug. Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you. Like that still feels good. Of course it feels better when somebody else does it, but it still feels good.
Yeah. Like washing your hair versus having your hairstylist wash your hair, right? It's a difference, but
there is a difference, but I'll still take it. Or like if you have a partner, like can they wash your back for you in the shower sometime? Like just because we do crave it and it feels different and we need it. It's a different form of a way to receive love and care. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for your insight and your wonderful words.
Oh, thank you. I hope that was helpful. I feel like it kind of was funky, but you know.
No, it's all good. Do you have a website, Rachel, that people can go to if they're trying to find you?
Oh, yes, I do. Thank you for asking. So I do have, kind of ironic since we're talking about touch, but an all online therapy business. And that is just so that it can be easily accessible for any of you Minnesotans anywhere in the state. And the website can be found at www.betterbalancepsychologicalservices.com. Very long, but it is what it is. And contact info and everything else is on there. I schedule free phone consults if you're unsure, but you're interested. We can talk about it. No commitment, no fee.
Great. Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again. And I'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so
much.
much.
Bye-bye.